How's it going, folks? It's Zacqhary here, and despite the fact that I may not be super loud and peppy, I am super hyped because the TGT expansion is now out, and I... Shut up, computer. Will be doing a pack opening, like I said I would. I was going to do this earlier in the day, but I had to work. So I have 21 packs. Like I said, I was not going to do the pre-purchase of 50 packs simply because I have never spent any money on this account, so I don't intend to. And of course I will be attempting to get more packs. I kept enough gold to do arena, so after this pack opening I'll probably do some arenas, maybe record some arena.
For a day of the most impressive jousting, eye-popping sideshows, and the mightiest combat you've ever encountered.
Alright, well, he just hyped this pack more than I could ever have hyped this pack, so got an epic. Alright, so first pack. First pack has 2 Silent Knights. Hooray. Obviously this is, for those who don't know, this is the card that Trump revealed on stream, on his stream, and he, along with most everyone else, agrees that this card is pretty bad, but I mean, it could be worse. It's an understandable card, it's just not very good in the current metagame. This card also extremely slow. This card is bland but good for its stats. And Recruiter. This is a very, very slow card. Most of the cards in this expansion are very slow, but that's a very value card if you can get it to activate multiple times. Not as good as Kodo Rider, if that's what the name of that card is, but still not a completely awful card. Flash Heal is decent. I will be talking about the cards, obviously, as I have been, because I haven't done any sort of like reaction or anything like that. So as I go through and open these packs, I'll be talking about the cards that come up. So Flash Heal is pretty decent for Priest. The Warhorse Trainer is lower cost but slightly less good. Quartermaster Spellslinger is very good. Maiden of the Lake is very good for Inspire decks. And Competitive Spirit is the new, very interesting secret where it activates all on its own without having a particular condition, assuming that it isn't stolen from Kazan Mystic or destroyed through Flare. Oh, Cut Purse, not super good, as a lot of people have pointed out. It's an interesting card, but a little slow for Rogue. North Sea Kraken, also incredibly slow. Demon Fuse, really bad. Another Silent Knight, and Flame Lance, so pretty below average pack. Sorry if my voice is a little weird. I did realize that I was a little hoarse, as some would say, after work. I don't know why. Burgle, kind of okay, kind of like Thoughtsteel. Bear Trap, interesting. Yeah, this card's too slow for sure. Another bad Demon Fuse, and bland but decent card. I'll probably start spacebarring these because I kind of drag them out of habit. Almost as a good luck thing, but doesn't obviously make any difference. This card is... it's okay for mechs. It's a little too slow. This is a pretty good card. Essentially, it's a Hand of Protection and a Blessing of Might, but for 1 more mana, but combined into 1 card, so you know, it's reasonably priced, pretty good card. Brave Archer, not very good because it's a card that you would want to play early, or if you have an Inspire deck, I suppose it's a card that you would want to play when you can use your hero power multiple times per turn with something like Garrison Commander, but even then, the requirement is too difficult. Kraken, pretty bad. And this card is pretty bad as well. Lowly Squire, decent, kind of the introductory card that showed off what Inspire can do in the previous Tavern Brawl. Flame Lance, bad. Jormungandr, pretty bad. Maiden of the Lake, decent. And, I actually really like this card, the Darnassus Aspirant. I think a lot of people really like this card. It's very interesting. I really like a lot of the new Druid cards. They may not be necessarily overpowered by any means, but they're all very interesting. I especially like this card. The Death Rattle obviously counteracts the Battle Cry, but if you can make use of the Battle Cry before this dies, which you most likely can if you're playing a deck that uses it, then it becomes a very helpful card. Very good for Ramp Druid. Because it gives Ramp Druid an early game option that it didn't have before. Demon Fuse, bad. Totem Golem, very good. Bear Trap again. Refreshment Vendor is okay. If there's a lot of aggressive decks, this card becomes much better. Fist of Jaraxxus, really bad card. It's just really bad. Mookla's Champion is decent. It's very slow. Holy Champion, I've seen some people using this in Arena. I did do an Arena today. So I've seen some people use this in Arena. It's pretty decent. Tuskar Jouster is pretty good. 5 mana 5/5 all on its own is decent enough to play when it has an effect that, even though it's inconsistent, it's a very good effect. Another Holy Champion. And Bash, this card is, in my opinion, very good. It doesn't replace Fiery War Axe by any means, because the War Axe is incredibly efficient in comparison based on cost. But this card is also very good removal for its cost and the additional effect of gaining armor. It helps against a more aggressive, even a more aggressive or mid-range metagame. Undercity Valiance, I do like this card. I certainly don't think it's better than SI7 Agent, but it's still a very interesting and useful card. The Snowball, that's too slow. Sparring Partner is another interesting card. 2 mana 2/3, much the same with the Undercity Valiant. 2 mana 3/2 is perfectly fine on its own. So for it to have the addition of Taunt and also giving another minion Taunt, and for this to have the addition of possibly dealing 1 damage, make them above average cards. Fearsome Doomguard is pretty decent. I don't think it quite makes the cut into most Demon Warlock decks as they currently are. Maybe the decks can be changed to run it, and it's certainly a buff to cards that summon random demons like Bane of Doom. This card is pretty good, the Horse Rider. Charge with Divine Shield is always a good combo. Power Word Glory is alright. It's another card that's better against aggressive decks. Another Valiant. Dreadsteed, I really like this card. A lot of people probably really like it just because it's very interesting, although it's probably not very good. I personally don't like a lot of the Joust mechanics just because of how inconsistent they are, especially Joust mechanics on low cost minions, because if you're playing this card, you might be playing a second copy of it, in which case you're playing low-cost minions, but high-cost Joust minions make more sense, but they're still pretty inconsistent. And another sparring partner, but still, to be fair, 1 mana 2/3 is very powerful. But the fact that it's so inconsistent. Druid of the Saber, I really like this card. Like I said, I like a lot of the new Druid cards. They're very interesting, even if they aren't necessarily overpowered. Another Spellslinger. Murloc Knight. I really like... I don't know, I like this card. It's fun. Shadowpan Rider. This card is going to most often be played with the combo, so most of the time it will be a 5 mana Boulder Fist Ogre, pretty much. But that's still pretty slow for rogue decks, and the requirement of combo is a little much. Another Aspirant is good, because I did want 2 of these cards. I do want to probably make Druid and Shaman. I don't have a lot of the... Oh, legendary, nice. I was just about to say I don't have that many legendaries, so making a slower deck like the Control Warrior is not really an option for me because it's too high of cost. If I don't get... There might be a couple legendaries from this expansion that I would really want and that I might actually craft, because I should be able to have enough dust. Bolster, not that great, obviously. It's essentially 2 mana 2/2, which is not very good. Clockwork Knight, too slow again. Golden Legendary! Oh, freak out! Oh my god, I'm really tired and I can't really, like, totally hyped out scream, and I'm really close to the mic anyway, but good god, Golden Legendary. So this is the second Golden Legendary I have ever gotten, ever. My first Golden Legendary was Deathwing, and I disenchanted it because I was never going to need Deathwing for anything. This I probably won't use. I'll probably hold on to it for sure. Unless I really want another Legendary, because obviously I can disenchant this to make any other Legendary I want, but yeah. Golden Edric. This card is really slow, and the effect isn't that useful, actually, compared to Aldor Peacekeeper, but it's still really, really awesome that I got a Golden Legendary, considering I didn't pre-purchase and didn't actually get that many packs. I would like the... oh! Yes! Yes, okay, so this is definitely one of the legendaries that I wanted. I don't think by any means that this is the best of the legendaries in this expansion, but like I said, I just really wanted most of the Druid cards. A lot of people don't really like this card in particular, because the effect is... I mean, it's a huge effect, but it's so slow of a card, and it requires you to have a pretty specific hand for it to be very good. But in my opinion, the effect is just so impressive. So yeah, I really wanted that one in particular. Demon Fuse is awful, but I don't care. Got the Druid card that I wanted. Wildwalker, I probably won't go with the Beast Druid route. I'll probably just go with the sort of Ramp Druid. Even though I don't really have a lot of the bigger legendaries, I might craft a couple like Ragnaros and Ysera just because they are really good, and I probably should have them by now. But still, having Aviana is... it kind of encourages me to maybe shoot for some of those other bigger cards. Cut purse again. Lance Carrier is kind of like... I mean, the effect is slightly better than Abusive Sergeant, but the 2/1 and 1 mana cost of Abusive Sergeant is just so much better. and it's a second Lance Carrier, and another Jouster. King's Defender, which is just worse, Fiery War Axe, and Competitive Spirit again, which is a very interesting card. Silent Knight again, Warhorse Trainer again, Jouster again. Living Roots, another Druid card that I find very interesting. Another card that gives Ramp Druid, or even mid-range Druid, better early game options, because it's a typical 1 mana deal 2 damage for, as one option, or being able to summon the 2/2 saplings, which can fight against more aggressive decks that have like 2/1s and whatnot, or it can be helpful in like token Druid decks. And Fallen Hero, I do like this card. As I mentioned earlier, 2 mana 3/2 is a good baseline for stats, so the effect is, while it's not necessarily game changing, it's very helpful, because if you play this card and they play a 3/2, you can ping it and kill their minion. So this card is probably better in Arena, but it's still pretty good in my opinion in Constructed. Probably more helpful in Inspire decks that allow you to use the hero power multiple times. Kraken, Bash, I do like this card still. Totemic, I like this for 1 more mana from the typical 2 mana 3/2, but it summons any random totem, and it can summon even the bigger totems like Totem Golem, the 2 mana 3/4. It can summon Manatide Totem, and obviously any of the totems you can get from your hero power. So very interesting card, very random obviously, but the effect is very good for its cost. This card, the Ancestral Knowledge, could have been Trump, and probably others have mentioned that it could have been an overload of 1 and been just fine, because then it would have been easily comparable to Arcane Intellect. I don't think that this card is bad, because Shaman doesn't have a lot of card draw options most of the time, so it did give Shaman a consistent card draw, but the overload is a little much. But it could be used in an overload deck for sure. And another Cut Purse. Definitely getting a lot of repeats, but the fact that I got Golden, Edric, and Aviana, even if I don't get like anything else useful in these last packs, I'm still happy. Demon Fuse is crap, obviously. I've probably gotten 5 of these so far. The Raider is just too slow most of the time. It's not necessarily a bad card, but it's just too slow. Fencing Coach, this is an interesting card. I played a few games today, and I played an arena run today where I saw some people using this, and it worked out to be able to turn 3, play this, and use your hero power right away. I don't think it's necessarily... Essentially, it ends up being like a 1 mana 2/2 when you use your hero power, but I don't think it's necessarily that good, but it's definitely not a bad card for sure. And the Alexstrasza's Champion, definitely an interesting card. Not really suited for most dragon decks right now, but I mean, it's still a good card. Especially if the effect goes off. Living Roots, definitely fun card. Bash again. Clockwork Knight, I think that's my 3rd one. Thunderbluff Valiant, I do kind of think is interesting. It's kind of like a Bloodlust for your totems. The problem is that you need to have a lot of totems out, but if this can stick around for even just one turn, it manages to be pretty good. But obviously it will be targeted. Burgle. Alright, 3 more packs. I don't expect to get anything ridiculous again. Ooh, an epic is nice, but Tuskar Totemic, very good. Seal of Champions, still good cut. Ooh, golden snowballed. Probably disenchant this. This is an interesting card. Essentially a 2-mana. It's like, is a 2-mana 2/4 taunt worth playing a at least somewhat dragon deck? I don't really think it is. Priest does have interesting dragon synergy, but this definitely is not the card to push it over the edge. Mysterious Challenger is interesting. It kind of pushes a very secret-oriented paladin deck. It's probably a little slow, but if you do run, you know, pretty much every paladin secret, playing this out and getting a ton of secrets out all at once can be very interesting. Since it is a 6-mana 6/6, the stats are perfectly fine, so the effect can be really strong. But again, it's like, is it worth running a whole new deck because of that card is the question you have to ask, really. Murloc Knight. I don't know why I think this card is so funny. Aspirant, too slow. Bolster, pretty bad. Another Snowballed, pretty bad. Rammer Wrangler, this card is interesting. Obviously, you're pretty much never going to play it when you don't have a beast. If you are forced to play this card when you don't have a beast, you're already in a losing position. And if you manage to play it while you have a beast, at worst, I believe it will be like a 5-mana 4/4 if you summon like an Angry Chicken or something. But you can end up summoning something like King Crush or other insane legendaries, or other insane beasts, I mean. And even if you only summon, a 2-mana beast, you've essentially played a 3-mana 3/3 plus a random 2-mana beast. So this card is very interesting. I think it's very good. Obviously better for something like Control Hunter. And my last pack for this pack opening. Spellslinger, Drumminger, Clockwork Knight, Ancestral Knowledge, and a Thunderbluff Valiant. Alright, so last pack wasn't exciting, but I did pull the Golden Edric and the Aviana. I got decent Druid cards with the Aspirant and the Aviana and the Living Roots. I got the Druid with the Saber too. I only got one of them, but that's fine. Aviana. I really like this card. When I first saw it, I thought it was insane. And I understand the reasoning behind why people don't think it's that good, because it only has 5 health. It's going to get killed pretty easily. But assuming that you are able to play a decent follow-up with it, especially if you have Innervate, then the card becomes pretty much insane. So it's insane under the right circumstances. Flame Lance, this card is so bad. Yeah, the Seal is pretty good. Murloc Knight. Tuskar Jouster is okay, but yeah, the Golden Edric. I want to keep it just because it looks so cool, but I know that I'll more than likely end up disenchanting it at some point. I mean, that's just too much dust to pass up. I mean, I could always hold on to it and hope that it gets nerfed somehow, and then I can disenchant it for full value, but I highly doubt that'll happen anytime soon anyway. I mean, it might happen, but it would take a while. Cutburst, Burgle, Valiant, Shadowpan. I got the 2 Ancestral Knowledge, Totem Golem, Discard Totemic. Yeah, I did end up getting 5 Demon Fuse, which is annoying, but yeah, it happens. I get the feeling that everyone is just going to get Demon Fuse in all of their packs, like no matter what, just because Blizzard really wants to push Demon Fuse and convince everyone that it's actually a good card. But as I said, I will most likely be doing Arena for I don't know, for a little while until I can get a better collection of the new cards, maybe get enough. It's stupid. I'm just disenchanting this immediately. The card is awful. But how much dust will I get? Yeah, I won't get that much dust, but I do have golden cards that I don't need and things like that. Plus the golden Edric, so that I could make a couple of legendaries that I would actually want. Like I said, the Edric is cool, but I'm never going to use it realistically, unless it were helpful for some adventure. What is the name of the really cool legendary that I wanted? That I'm sure everyone wants. The one that changes your hero power into something better. What is Chilmaw? Forget what this one is. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, see, I'm missing a lot of the even old legendaries like Sylvanas. So I might use as much dust as I can to make like Ragnaros, Sylvanas, and Ysera, and go for Ramp Druid, or I don't know, maybe make some of the new this isn't a legendary, obviously, I was just looking at it, but make some of the new legendaries or something like that. Here it is, the True Heart. Because I really like this one. I'm not sure what deck I would use it in, but it's obviously very good in pretty much every deck. But since I don't have a lot of the larger legendaries, it's not really a viable option for me to go for something like Wallet Warrior, Control Warrior, things like that. But I will definitely use this gold for Arena, probably record some Arena at some point, and I don't know, I probably won't do another pack opening because I don't have the patience to save up packs. So I'll just make new decks and open packs as I get them, and hopefully have interesting content to record with the release of this expansion. So that's all. I went way too long on this after finishing opening the packs. For anyone who actually watched all of me rambling and going through all the cards that I got, you're awesome. And I will probably do Arena next. So that's all. Later.